So let's go ahead and write out our formulas in an example trade. You can follow along in your workbook and check your math against mine. If you're getting different answers, just go ahead, pause the video, and then see where you went wrong. In this trade example, we're going to use the stock Baidu, Chinese internet name. And the date that we're referencing is going to be December 11th, 2017. Baidu at that time is at a price of $233.54, but we'll call it $233 to make it easy. Now, to structure this trade, I'm going to sell one of the March 240 calls, and I'm going to collect $13.10 in premium. At the same time, I'm going to buy one of the March 250 calls, paying $9.40 in premium. So again, let's go ahead and look at this light colored line here. This is the P&L again of our trade. The candlesticks is following what Baidu, the underlying stock, is doing. So what I want you to notice is as the stock falls, remember this is a bear call spread. We need the stock to fall in order for us to make money on this spread. What do you notice? Well, you notice that the P&L gaps higher as Baidu falls. So remember, even at this point right here, if you decided to take this trade off, you'd be able to close it for a nice profit. But what ended up happening with Baidu? Well, as we can see here, Baidu ended up going higher. So I thought the stock would go lower. It actually went higher. So what happens in my bear call spread? Well, if we look at the P&L, it actually went negative. So this ended up being a negative trade. So let's go ahead and calculate our max loss and our max gain. So this is Baidu. At the time of trade, Baidu is trading at roughly $233 a share. This is on December 11th, 2017. So to calculate max loss, remember, you're going to have to take the difference in the strikes, so 250 minus 240. So it's going to be 10. And then you have to subtract the premium that you earned, which is 370. But how did we get there? We got there through, what did we collect on the 240 call? We collected 1310. And then what did we pay for the 250 call? 940. So that's 370. Your max loss then is 630. Remember, we're talking about one-by-one contracts, so you're going to multiply times 1, the number of contracts, times 100. 100 multiplier, we're talking about 100 shares of stock. Your max loss, therefore, is $630. Now, your max gain is kind of simple, right? Your max gain is simply the premium that you received. That's the most that you can make on this trade. So how do we calculate that? Well, your max gain is basically the difference in 1310 and 940, or 370, which you have to multiply times 1 because we're talking about a one-by-one spread, times 100 shares of stock, we're talking about 100 multiplier. Your max gain, therefore, is $370. To calculate your break even, you need to know what your lower strike is. So that's 240. And then you're going to add the net premium that you collected of 370. So your break even equals 243.70. So what's interesting about this break even is if Baidu had closed below 243.70, this could have been a profitable trade. So remember, I had 10 points of buffer of whenever we started this trade because Baidu was roughly around $233 at the onset of the trade. So I had 10 points of room for this to potentially be a profitable trade. So where did Baidu close at expiration? 262.39. So clearly, Baidu went up. It did not go down. So our bear call spread did not make any money. So let's go ahead and calculate the net result. So again, you're going to have to look at both legs of the trade to see how they played out. So let's go ahead and look at the 250 call that you purchased. Well, if Baidu closed at 262.39, we know that that call is worth 12.39. Let's look at our 240 call. Baidu closed again at 262.39. We know that this call is worth 22.39. So the difference here is 10 points that you lost. You made 12.39 on the long call. You lost 22.39 on the short call. Now, how much did you collect on this spread? Remember, we made 370. So the net result is a loss of 630 per contract. So we're going to take our 630 loss. How many contracts are we talking about? It's a 1-by-1 call spread. Multiply it times 100, 100 multiplier, and your loss is $630 on the trade. So to review, a bear call spread, you need the stock to fall in order for this to be a profitable trade. So remember, adapt the vertical bear call credit spread to your hypothesis. You need to have some negative downside event for the stock in order for this to play out. Also, assess the outcome of applying this spread to your strategy. So know your break-even point, know your max gain, and know your max loss. I've provided another example for you in your workbook, so try and solve it yourself and see if you come out with the right results.